Hi, my name is Marketta Collins.
And hi, I'm Demarcus, and this is our version of Serial Podcast. This podcast is about a murder that went on 16 years ago involving two high school students at the time. Adnan Syed is the suspect and has been convicted with the murder of Heyman Lee, who used to be Adnan's ex-girlfriend. This is why he is the prime suspect. However, 16 years later, thanks to the people at This American Life and Serial Podcast, this case has been brought back up. And Adnan is still claiming his innocence. And we think he is telling the truth. The reasoning upon why is because we think that his best friend Jay did it.
We think Jay did it because he reveals too much information about the murder not to be involved. We think his motive was jealousy. We suspect that he possibly thought Stephanie and Adnan were really close and they were crowned prince and princess at their school. And maybe Adnan buying her a stuffed animal set him off. Later in the podcast, Jay says that around 1:30 p.m., Jen comes home from work and tells her how Adnan plans to kill Hay. Meaning, by the time Adnan calls Jay, which was around 3:40 p.m., to pick him up from the Best Buy, where he supposedly showed the body, why did Jay not go to the police since he had already knew about the murder prior?
As we continue getting evidence from the podcast, we thought, for someone to lie 16 years about not killing somebody is pretty hard. And we think that Adnan is telling the truth. Because if he was lying, he would have broken down by then and admitted that he killed Hay. But he has not. We think Jay did it, again, because he was jealous. Not only that, but all the outgoing calls on Adnan's phones were from Jay's friends. Adnan was more liked than him and had more money and respect. We think that Jay followed Hay to the Best Buy parking lot and confronted her about something and gained her trust, and then strangled her, and then gets back into Adnan's car and comes back later to bury her. We also think Jay is impulsive, which caused him to kill Hay. Maybe the conversation got out of hand. I can prove this by telling the testimony of Jay's friend about wanting to stab him. And no normal person says this. So after the debrief on Jay's situation, we also think that he is guilty because of the inconsistencies within his story. He switched it up multiple times, and even the recent interview he had with Sarah Koenig, he told a completely different story than what he had 16 years ago. So we created a rundown of what happened that night. Jay met Hay at the Best Buy and confronted her about the situation with Stephanie and Adnan. And he strangled her, put the body in her car, and manipulated Adnan until he had to go to the mosque. At that time, that's when they went to Kathy's house, and that's why it was very awkward, because not only were they high, he was trying to buy time so Adnan wouldn't go into the car. And after that, he took Adnan's car and went to go bury her body.
Why didn't Jay go to the police?
Why does Jay know so much?
Why did Jay lie and say he picked Adnan up from track practice at 5:45, and then he turned around and said that he picked Adnan up at 6:45? There's a big difference.
Is Jay a criminal informant?
Did Jay really want Hay himself?
Why was Jay so secretive about Stephanie, and why Stephanie didn't want to speak about her and Jay's relationship.
Why?
What do you think, Stanley?